The desert was silent. The twin suns of the planet Zarnok 5 beat down hard on the cracked red soil. Deep under the ground, inside a forgotten ruin, a team of alien researchers worked quietly. Dust floated in the air. Broken stone walls surrounded. Them walls covered in symbols no one had seen in thousands of years. Drachil, a tall, green-scaled alien from the Varn Dominion, stood in front of a glowing console. His long fingers moved carefully over the symbols. These markings. There. Not just decoration, he said, voice shaking slightly. They're data, a map. The others looked up. There were 5 of them. Scientists, explorers, codebreakers. All hired by the Dominion to uncover secrets from this ancient site. Show us, said Riley, the tech expert. She adjusted her scanner and pointed it at the console. A soft hum filled the chamber. Then, a bright 3D map of the galaxy appeared in the air. Everyone froze. Hundreds of stars glowed. Planet systems, warp paths, colonies. Some were familiar, some were not. There. Drakel pointed to a section of space near the edge of the galaxy. That system, it has no current records. No known civilizations. But look. He zoomed in. A single blue planet rotated slowly near a yellow sun. Round it were ancient symbols glowing softly. The word translated slowly on Riley's screen, Terra silence, RYLE. Frowned. That system? Isn't that where the humans are from? Drachil nodded slowly. Yes. Earth. A new race. Only discovered 100 cycles ago. Still expanding. Still learning. But this map is at least 10,000 years old. Another researcher whispered. Everyone stared at the glowing word, Terra. Hours passed. The team worked in silence, digging deeper into the archive. This ruin is older than the Dominion itself, said Riali. How is Terra on this map? Drachil checked the coordinates again. The system has been marked with a high priority. Tag, look here, there's a warning. He translated it out loud. Do not awaken the echoes of Terra. They remember what we tried to forget. Chills went through the room. Then something strange happened. The console blinked. A new signal appeared coming from the Terra system. Live signal. Really gasped. It's broadcasting now. It's from Earth, or near it. Drachil stared at the waveform. It's ancient. Pre-Dominion code. No modern species uses this format anymore. He played the signal. A robotic voice repeated over and over. We were never the first. Back on Earth. Far away in the snowy Arctic Circle, a young human technician named Leanne Torres was checking weather sensors. She was bored, sitting in a frozen outpost with only machines for company. Suddenly, her console lit up. A signal, an old one. Very, very old. What the hell? She muttered. It wasn't from a satellite, not from any human source she recognized. It came from beneath the ice. She ran diagnostics. The signal was ancient, layered in strange codes. Her system translated one part, Memory Core Alpha, Human Origin Marker detected. Then another line appeared on her screen. Welcome back, child of Terra. She froze. Who's sending this? She grabbed her coat, a flashlight, and climbed down the icy ladder into the lower levels of the research base. The signal was coming. From behind a sealed metal door, one that had never been opened before. Her ID scanner blinked red. Then the panel lit up. Voice match confirmed. Leon Torres. Bloodline clear. Access granted. Bloodline, she thought. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was a round chamber with glowing walls. The air smelled old, like it hadn't been touched in centuries. In the center stood a machine covered in dust. On its screen were 2 words, Initiating Awakening. In deep space, the alien researchers watched as their screens blinked. The signal from Terra just responded. Riley's face went pale. It's not just a beacon, it's a gate. It's opening something. Drachel's fingers trembled. This place, it wasn't a ruin. It was a warning post. Someone wanted to keep that place hidden. The console flashed again. New symbols appeared. Riley translated quickly. Terra Project. Cycle 0 initiated. Contact begins. They stared at each other. Cycle 0, she asked. What does that mean?
Us.
Before anyone could answer, the chamber began to shake. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something's activating, Drakehill shouted. They ran out of the ruin as the ground cracked behind them. Red lightning shot from the top of the mountain. A beam of light fired straight into space. The Dominion would notice. The galaxy would notice. Terra was awake. Inside the Arctic vault, Leanne watched, in awe, as the machine played a hologram. A tall man in silver armor stood in the image. His eyes were deep, tired, and full of war. I speak to you, descendant of Earth, the man said. You think you're kind or new? You think this is your first time among the stars?
The hologram.
Zoomed out to show hundreds of planets burning. It is not. He paused. You are the children of the first empire. The first to build, the first to conquer, and the first to fall. We locked away our power so no one could use it again. But it seems the stars remember. The hologram ended. Leanne stood silent. Her world had just changed. Meanwhile, in the Galactic High Council chamber, alarms blared. A representative from the Urine Collective shouted across the room, a forbidden system has gone active. What? Is transmitting ancient code? An elder alien with 4 eyes and glowing skin looked worried. We thought humans were just beginning. If this is true, if they are tied to the old empires, another interrupted. We must shut them down before they find out what they really are. Back on Earth, Leanne's screen lit up again. A message. From deep space, from someone or something watching her. They're coming. Must rise again. The chamber was massive, floating silently in orbit above the capital world of Velthor Prime. It was the heart of the Galactic High Council, where the rulers of more than 70 intelligent species gathered in secret to manage the affairs of the galaxy, but now the chamber was full of chaos. Screens buzzed, lights blinked. Voices shouted in a dozen languages. A signal had just been detected, old, forbidden code from the Terra system. Chancellor Vakethal, a long-necked elder from the Renari species, raised his voice. Order. We need order. The room went quiet. Vakethal looked around the council. We have a problem, and it wears a human face. He tapped the control panel on his seat. A hologram appeared above the central table, showed a map of the galaxy, thousands of stars glowing across the dark. One section pulsed red, the human homeworld. Earth, he said slowly. A signal from beneath its surface. A code that hasn't been used in over 30,000 cycles. Impossible, muttered Zirkle, a spider-like noble from the Tarn Dominion. Humans are new, primitive. How can they broadcast ancient imperial code? Vakethal's voice turned cold. That's what we thought. He zoomed in the map. The red pulse was coming from a forgotten sector. The system once known as Terra Prime. In the oldest star maps, a name buried, hidden, erased from all modern records. One of the counselors, a gray-feathered diplomat from the Carry Union, spoke up nervously. There are rumors, old ones, about a race that rose before all others. They say this race built great machines, moved stars, and vanished after a war so terrible it cracked the void. The room went silent again. Are you saying the humans? Zirkle hissed. Vakethal nodded slowly. We need to consider the possibility that humanity is not the child of the stars, but its forgotten parent. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Leanne Torres sat alone in the frozen control room beneath. The Arctic base, her hands trembled. The hologram of the ancient human general still played in her mind. You are not the first. Her computer beeped. Second signal was coming through. This one wasn't from the ruins, it was from deep space. Strange encryption. She hesitated, then decrypted it. A message appeared. You have opened the vault. The Council knows. Protect the core. They will try to silence Terra. She stared at the screen, her heart racing. Who are you? The answer came instantly. An ally, a survivor, one who remembers the Empire. She wanted to ask more, but the lights flickered. Outside, wind howled across the ice. Something was coming. Back on Velthor Prime, The council voted in private. The debate had gone on for hours. Vekthal watched the results appear. Out of 70 species, 42 had voted for containment. 15 voted for observation. 13 wanted open war. Humans must not learn the truth, Zirkle growled. If they are the firstborn, and they remember what they were, they may rise again, the Carey ambassador added. And if they were once rulers, others may follow them. An ancient AI advisor, long disconnected from emotion, stated plainly, historical records suggest the Terra Empire once controlled over half the known galaxy. They were not only powerful, they were respected and feared. Vekthal turned. Grim, then we agree. We send a shadow fleet to the Sol system. No war. No contact. Just silence them before the old powers return. Leanne had no idea she was already being watched in orbit above Earth. Hidden behind the moon, a tiny alien stealth probe drifted. It had been there for years, monitoring human growth. Quiet. Harmless. But now, its red light blinked for the first time in decades. It sent a signal back to its masters, core activated. Vault opened. Human signal online. Far across the stars, a fleet began to move. In the shadows of space, deep in the Ravak Nebula, a black operations ship called the Silent Dagger received new orders. Commander Krelthas, a cold and efficient warrior bred by the Tarn Dominion, stood before his crew. We have permission, he said. Target? Asked his weapons officer. Earth. Human signal site. We are to disable and extract the source by any means necessary. What if they resist? Krelthas narrowed his eyes. They won't even know we were there. But not every race agreed with the Council's orders. In a small hidden base orbiting a dead star, a group of strange aliens stood around a table. They called themselves the Vaultborn. They were old, survivors, servants of the First Empire who had hidden when it fell. One of them, a pale, thin being wrapped in gold armor, spoke with excitement. They've awakened, he whispered. Bloodline has returned. Another nodded. The old codes were true. The Empire left markers, keys. The one on Earth has activated the first. The leader, called Vorin, the Silent, traced his hand. The galaxy has forgotten who ruled it. Once? But we remember. He looked out the window, toward the blue glow of Earth, far away. Terra will rise again, and we will rise with it. Back on Earth, Leanne took a risk. She sent a message to the Global Defense Network, a secure military line. Used only for planetary emergencies, she didn't know if they would believe her. But she had to try. She typed, Hidden facility beneath Arctic base has activated. Signal is not human-made. Origin unknown but seems tied to humanity's past. Possible threat or discovery. Immediate backup required. Then she attached the hologram footage. Within minutes, she got a reply. Stay in place. Team en route. Do not interact with the source again. But it was too late. The source was now interacting with her. Her screen blinked again. New message. Your world will be tested. Prepare. Tested how? No reply suddenly. Her equipment shut down. Darkness filled the chamber. She grabbed her flashlight, breathing hard. Then the walls began to glow again. A hidden doorway opened on the side she had never noticed. Beyond it, stairs leading down. She knew she should wait for backup, but something pulled her forward. Curiosity, fate. She stepped inside, in the void beyond the Council's reach. Something ancient stirred. A satellite older than Earth's recorded history floated in deep orbit around Jupiter. Once dead, now awake, its eye opened. Its signal began to pulse. The heir has been found. Cycle 0 initiated. Echoes of Terra preparing for return. On Velthor Prime, Vekthal stared at the incoming data. This is worse than I thought, he muttered. The Tarn's ambassador growled. Shall we destroy them now? No, Vekthal whispered. Not yet. He looked at the red blinking system on the galactic map. If we move too soon, we might wake the others. The others? Someone asked. Vekthal didn't answer. He simply muttered, "Pray the humans never remember everything." Leanne's boots echoed softly as she stepped onto the cold metal stairs. The air was different, here, heavy, still ancient. The light from her flashlight bounced off strange markings carved into the walls. They were not in any known language, yet she felt something familiar in them. Each step down felt like she was walking into another time. At the bottom, the stairway opened into a wide, circular chamber. The walls were curved, like the inside of a buried ship. In the center, a large platform glowed with a soft blue light. Floating above it was a sphere made of metal, glass, and something else she couldn't name. It was alive. Slowly turning, pulsing as she stepped closer, it reacted. The floor lit up beneath her feet. Lines of glowing symbols stretched out around the room. Screens appeared, hanging in the air, showing Earth, other planets, ships. "Wars," a voice echoed through the chamber. User confirmed. Bloodline recognized. "Welcome, Leanne Torres." She froze. "How? How do you know me?" The voice was not human. Not fully. It was old, part machine, part something else. "You carry the genetic key of the Builders. We're a descendant of Terra's first line. Your presence has activated. Archive Core 1. Leanne's mouth went dry. "What is this place?" the voice answered. "This is one of 7 archives. Memory vaults of the First Empire. Each was hidden at the fall. Each contains knowledge, power, history." The walls shifted, revealing glowing carvings of massive human warships. Planets ringed with weapons, and a galaxy under a single banner. The banner of Terra, far above Earth. The alien Shadow Fleet approached silently, inside the lead ship's silent dagger. Commander Krelthus reviewed the scan data. "Vault activation confirmed," said his officer. "The human female is inside." "Status of defenses?" Krelthus asked. "No military response yet. Their systems don't even detect us." "Good. Prepare drop team. Infiltration only. No noise. Extract the core or destroy it." It stared at Earth on the screen. They must not awaken what sleeps down there. Back in the archive, Leanne touched the glowing sphere. Her mind flooded with visions. She saw ancient cities floating in the sky. Massive ships, shaped like swords, cutting through space. Giant machines building entire moons. Then war. Fire. Silence. A voice in her head whispered. "They turned on us. Feared us, betrayed us, so we vanished. And waited." Her knees gave way. She dropped to the floor, breathing hard. The sphere spoke again. "Would you like to access the memory?" She hesitated. "Yes." The walls darkened. A new hologram appeared. A man stood tall, broad shoulders, dark armor, silver hair. His eyes glowed like dying stars. He began to speak. "My name is General Kale Riven, last commander of the Terra High Fleet. If you are seeing this, the archive has recognized your blood. That means the cycle is returning." He paced slowly. As he spoke, long ago, Terra ruled not by force, but by being the first to explore, the first to build, the first to defend. But others grew jealous, afraid. The council you now know, those false rulers, were once our students, our allies, then our betrayers. Aeon watched as the hologram showed battles across the stars. Human ships being overwhelmed, cities falling. We sealed our archives, hid our weapons, buried the truth, waiting for the day one of our own would return. The hologram stared directly at her. "That's you." Suddenly, the sphere turned. Red alarms echoed in the chamber. "Warning. Unauthorized life forms detected. Infiltration force entering perimeter." Leanne's eyes widened. "They're coming." Outside, the ice cracked. A black shuttle dropped from orbit, silent and deadly. Alien commandos in dark armor stepped out, their weapons glowing cold blue. Krelthos led them. "Find the girl. Secure the core." They moved fast, slicing through the lower levels of the base. Inside the archive, Leanne looked around. "Can this place defend itself?" Sphere responded. "Yes. but only with authorization from a first-line descendant? She didn't fully understand, but she shouted, "Then do it. Defend us." The chamber trembled, hidden weapons unfolded. From the walls, turrets, drones, force fields, the symbols on the floor flared bright. Outside, alien soldiers stopped as automated defense systems activated. Turrets fired beams of energy. Drones flew through the hallways targeting invaders. With precision, Krelthus growled. "They have defense protocols? That's impossible. They shouldn't have this tech." One of his soldiers screamed as a drone exploded near him. "Fall back," Krelthus shouted. "She's triggered the Archive's defense grid." But it was too late. A force field. Sealed. The entrance behind them, back in the council chambers, Vakethal received the update. The infiltration failed. He gritted his teeth. They've activated the Archive's defense systems. The humans. They're unlocking their past. Zirkle slammed a clawed hand on the table. "Then we must do what we feared." Vakethal nodded slowly. "Alert. The fire fleets. Tell them to prepare for full system lockdown. Council was going to surround Earth." Meanwhile, Leon stood in front of the sphere. "What do I do now?" The sphere pulsed softly. "You are the key. More vaults remain. More knowledge. More power. Terra's return begins with you," Leanne whispered. "But I'm just a scientist." "No, I don't know how to fight a war," the sphere replied calmly. "Neither. Did we? Until they gave us a reason." Outside, the sky began to shift. It's unseen by Earth's governments. More alien ships entered orbit, silent predators waiting to strike. But Earth was no longer sleeping. Its past had awoken. Leontora sat quietly inside the glowing archive chamber. Around her, the defenses still hummed with power, holding off any more intrusions. But she knew this peace wouldn't last long. The enemy would return. Stronger, the voice of the archive spoke again. "This vault is only one piece. There are 6 others where?" she asked, "hidden across the galaxy." But one has already begun to stir. A map projected into the air. Stars blinked. One burned brighter than the rest. Vault 2. Location: Mars. Leon blinked. "Mars. It's already settled. We have bases there." "The vault is deeper. Beneath the southern pole. Frozen, buried in silence." Her breath caught, if someone else reached it first. All of Earth's hope could be lost. High above Earth, alien fleets began to take position. Over a dozen warships, black and silent, entered orbit. Their weapons were not powered yet, but they watched, waiting inside the flagship Dusk, Talon, commander. Servan of the Carry Union stared at the blue planet. "So peaceful," he muttered, "and yet so dangerous." An officer behind him asked, "Shall we begin planetary lockdown?" "Not yet," Servan said. "The Council wants no war, just silence." He smirked. "But if humanity makes the wrong move, we erase them." Earthlian met with a secret group in Geneva, the Terran Deep Defense Council. Most didn't believe her. But when she showed them the footage, the archive, the signal, the alien soldiers, everything changed. A general stood up, shocked. "You're saying Earth isn't mankind's beginning?" Leanne nodded. "It might be our second life. Maybe even third." Another advisor leaned forward. "And what happens if we awaken the other vaults?" Leanne looked him dead in the eyes. "Then we stop being prey." Hours later, a stealth shuttle took off from Earth. Inside it, Leanne sat, strapped in, suited for deep space landing. Her escort? An elite unit known as Black Echo, trained for off-world retrieval missions. Their target? The second vault. Buried beneath Mars's southern ice cap, as the shuttle left Earth's atmosphere, something strange happened. The archive sphere she had taken with her began to glow again, approaching proximity. Second vault awakening. Initiated. On Mars, deep beneath the crust, a soft tremor shook the ice. Machines long dead came back to life. Lights blinked in hidden tunnels. Seals cracked open after 30,000 years of silence, and something inside waited back in the alien fleet. The silent dagger picked up the energy spike. Krelthus had survived the failure on Earth. Now he had a second chance. He turned to his crew. They're heading for Mars. The second vault. We cannot allow them. To reach it, he opened a comm channel. To all Council fleet captains, recommend immediate action. Earth has made its choice. We must act. But before the command could be given, something unexpected happened. An unknown ship dropped out of hyperspace near Mars. Large, black, old, not in any galactic database. Its design was strange human in shape, but far more advanced. Smooth armor, no visible weapons.
Silent.
It just appeared, and then it broadcast a single signal. Bloodline confirmed. Vault Awakening approved. Terra Protocol, Resurgence. Leanne's shuttle received the signal as it entered Mars orbit. The archive sphere began to vibrate. The Sentinels have responded. Sentinels, she asked. Last guardians of the First Empire. Hidden, waiting. You have called them. Her team looked at her, worried. Do we land or abort? Her commander asked. She looked down at the red planet. We land. The ship touched down on the ice cap. Wind blew red dust across their path as they marched toward the coordinates. Drones led the way, scanning for movement. Their scanners kept going wild. Then, a door opened in the ice. Not human dash-made. It slid. Back silently, revealing a dark tunnel lit with ancient blue lights. One of the soldiers muttered, "This place feels alive." They stepped inside. Far away, Vakethal slammed his fist on the council table. They've reached Mars, Zirkle hissed. Then it's over. If they reach the second vault, the others may follow. One of the carry shouted. We must. Send destroyers now. But a new voice interrupted. The AI archivist and ancient observer who had served all sides spoke coldly. Caution. Violence near the vaults may trigger defense protocols left by the Terra Empire. Veka paused. What kind of defense? The AI simply replied, planet killer level. Inside the Martian vault, Leanne stepped into the main chamber. It looked different from Earth's. Bigger, older, like a cathedral built by machines. In the center was a long cylinder, floating, glowing, gold and black. The archive sphere she carried floated toward it. Then locked into place, the room exploded in light. The voice returned. Second vault online. Knowledge transfer initiated. Leanne felt her mind open. This vault didn't show war. It showed creation. Massive engines of planet building. Blueprints. Of star drives. Genetic upgrades. Medical miracles. Power real. Raw power. And all of it. From humanity's forgotten past, her eyes filled with tears. We were gods once. Suddenly, sirens wailed. The vault defenses had triggered. Outside, sky above Mars burned white. An alien missile had been launched from orbit. Direct strike. Inside the alien ship Dusk Talon, Commander Zervan watched in silence. I warned them. But as the missile struck the surface, something no one expected happened. The vault lit up like a sun. A force field erupted, blocking the blast. The energy bounced into space, creating a wave that knocked out 5 nearby ships inside the vault. Leanne stood untouched, and above Mars. New message appeared in every ship's system. Warning, protected world. Violation of TerraSpace will result in counterforce. For the first time in centuries, fear returned to the Council. Not fear of war, but fear of memory. Fear of what they had tried to erase. And now, it was waking up. The red skies over Mars were still glowing. The alien missile attack had failed. The vault survived. But now, the entire galaxy had seen what was hidden. A broken, silent world had just shouted loud enough to shake the stars. Inside the Martian vault, Leanne stood near the core chamber. Light surrounded her. Energy flowed around her body. She wasn't just watching ancient history anymore. She was now part of it. The vault spoke in a new voice. Sentinel systems active. Terra Protocol resurgence in effect. Her team stared as ancient machines rose from the ground sleek. Black drones with gold markings, still functional after thousands of years. The chambers showed images of all 7 vaults across the galaxy. 1 was already active on Earth, 1 now active on Mars. The third blinked, slowly waiting. Vault 3. Location: the Scorched Belt. Coordinates locked. Leanne frowned. The Scorched Belt. That's forbidden space. One of the soldiers spoke. Nothing survives there. Not even council ships, the vault answered. Correct. Air's defenses remain operational. In orbit, alien fleets fell. Into chaos. Inside the council warship Silent Dagger. Commander Krelthus watched the Mars footage again. His claws tapped the console. Slow and nervous. He had never seen a weapon bounce a planetary missile back into space. One officer whispered. If more vaults activate, Krelthus finished his thought aloud. Then the humans won't need fleets. The galaxy will bow or burn. Back on Earth, chaos had turned into fear and action. The secret Terran Defense Council had been activated. General Miles, a hard, old man with steel-gray eyes, stood before the High Command. All nations agree. We can't hide anymore. He turned to the giant screen behind him, showing a blurry image of the Mars vault lighting up the sky. This is not just about defense, it's about return. We were something more before, and we're becoming it again. Leanne's live message came from Mars. She looked into the camera, tired but strong. We found the truth. And now we're finding the pieces. There are more vaults, more knowledge, more power. But we are not the only ones searching. Her voice turned firm. The Council is watching. But they're afraid, because they know what we once were. Meanwhile, far across the stars, the Scorched Belt twisted in silence. It was a dead regent. No ships dared go near once. It had been the site of a massive battle. Now, it was full of floating metal, broken stations, and strange radiation. But something ancient moved there now, eh? Dark objects stirred deep inside a forgotten moon. A vault. 3 was waking without help. Without permission, it had sensed Mars. And now, it sent out its own call. A voice, a signal. This is Terra. We are not gone. That message spread like wildfire across pirate networks. Rebel colonies, broken AI machines, hidden planets. People started whispering the same thing. The humans are coming back. Back in council space, panic grew. Zirkle slammed her hands. On the table, they've activated a second vault. The third one just spoke. Vakethal growled. Should have destroyed them when we had the chance. But the Archivist AI, neutral and calm, responded coldly. Attempting to strike the vaults now would be suicide. You forget what they hold. Another counselor stood. If they activate all 7, no one spoke, because they knew if that happened, nothing could stop the Terrans on Mars. Leanne sat alone inside the vault's data core. The sphere beside her glowed faintly. Why me? She asked, why was I the one to start this? The voice answered gently, because you carry the bloodline, but also because you chose to see. Others walked past us, dug around us, ignored us, but you listened. You heard the echo. Looked at the projection of the Scorched Belt. We need to reach Vault 3. Before they do. The AI responded. Agreed. A path exists, dangerous, hidden, but it can be done. At that moment, strange ping echoed through the system. A private message. It wasn't alien. It wasn't from Earth. It was from an unknown ship. A small, unregistered freighter. And it only said, I heard Terra's voice. I want to help. Ours. Later, the freighter docked with Mars Station 9. It was old, dented, barely held together, but the pilot, he wasn't ordinary. He stepped out slowly, wearing a ragged coat and a dusty helmet. Human, but not from Earth. My name is Rafe, he said, smiling. I was born on a mining rock near Epsilon. My people told stories about Terra, thought they were myths. But I always believed. Leanne looked at him carefully. Why help us? He shrugged. Because when a voice from a dead empire whispers to the stars, you listen. They prepared for the journey. Rafe's ship was stealth-capable. Old tech pre-council, era perfect for sneaking through the scorched belt. Leanne's Rafe, and a small team of Echo soldiers loaded the archive sphere. Along with new data from Mars, their mission, reach Vault 3, awaken it before the Council blocked them forever. But they had no idea what truly waited for them in the dark. As the freighter left Mars orbit, passing quietly into the void, Earth watched. The stars ahead were dangerous. The enemies were many. But Terra had spoken, and someone had answered. Darkness. That's all Leanne could see as the ship entered the scorched belt. Stars were hidden behind. Floating wreckage, twisted metal, broken moons, shattered stations. The area stretched for millions of kilometers, full of deadly radiation. An ancient war debris, the ship Ghost Sparrow, piloted by Rafe, glided silently through the chaos. Its old stealth tech made it invisible to sensors, but that didn't mean they were safe. Eyes open, Rafe said. This place eats ships for breakfast. Leanne nodded. She sat beside the archive sphere, watching its soft pulse. Vault 3 is near, but not safe, the AI whispered. The closer they got, the more wrong everything felt. Back on Earth, alarms were ringing in secret bases. The scorched belt had lit up with energy readings. The third vault was activating on its own. General Miles stared at the screen. Therein, his aide asked, "Should we warn them?" Miles shook his head. They knew the risks. Let's hope Terra still remembers how to protect her own. In Council space, Vakathal growled as new data came in. They sent a ship. Into the belt? Zirkle looked stunned. That's madness. Even we don't go near it. The AI archivist appeared. It is not madness. It is destiny. Humans go where others fear. That is why they ruled once. Vakathal slammed the table, and we stopped them before they reached Vault 3. Turned to his fleet command. Launch. Interceptors. I don't care if they die in the process. That vault must not wake. Back inside the Ghost Sparrow, the team spotted a strange object in the distance. It was huge, bigger than any known space station. Shaped like a massive broken ring, glowing faint blue from inside. That's it, Leanne said. That's the third vault. As they got closer, they saw something even stranger. Wrecked ship, Salian, and human frozen around the vault, like they had tried to approach and failed.
Out.
Others were completely melted, Rafe whispered. What kind of weapon did Terra leave behind? The archive AI answered, not weapon, warning. They found an opening in the ring, a tunnel lined with deadlights and metal carvings. The ship docked slowly. Leanne, Rafe, and 2 Echo soldiers entered the vault through the tunnel. The moment they stepped inside, the air changed. Cold, heavy, silent, it felt. Haunted. This place is not just asleep, Leon said quietly. It's dreaming. The corridor led them to a chamber. Black walls, ancient symbols, strange glowing veins in the floor. In the center, a pedestal on it, was a suit. Human-shaped, sleek black and silver armor, glowing softly.
Yeah.
Hovering just above the floor, Rafe stepped closer. That's no normal armor, the archive responded. Terra Vanguard class exoframe, designed for prime defense units. Worn only by Terran monarchs or chosen guardians. Leanne took a breath. Then why is it here? The vault answered, waiting. For the one who remembers. Suddenly, the suit's eyes glowed bright blue. A deep sound shook the chamber. Bloodline detected. Activation permitted. The suit slowly descended to the floor, standing upright. Leanne stepped forward. Without thinking, she reached out, and the armor opened, outside the vault. A new danger approached. 2 Council interceptor ships had entered. The belt, fast and armed. Inside one, Captain Xeris snarled, "We'll destroy them before they touch the core." But as they neared the vault, the debris field shifted. A forgotten defense system woke up. Beams of white light shot through space. No warning. No mercy. One interceptor exploded instantly. The other tried to flee, but its engines died mid-dash run. Seconds. Both were gone. Inside the vault, Leanne wore the exo frame. It fit perfectly. The armor linked with her mind. She could feel everything: the walls, the ship, the stars. She wasn't just human now. She was Terra's voice. System sync complete. Guardian protocol awakened. Her team stared in awe. Even Rafe looked shaken. You're different now. Leanne smiled. No, I'm finally myself. The vault's walls began to move. A hidden chamber opened. Inside was something no one expected. A map not of the galaxy, but of other galaxies. Stars, route signals, warnings. The Terran Empire hadn't just ruled the Milky Way. They had left it, and this vault was a gate. A portal. The AI spoke one final message. Vault 3 unlocked. Long-range Terra beacon restored. Message will now echo to all old colonies. Leanne turned to her team. We just told the universe. We're back. Far away, across distant galaxies, ancient human colonies woke up. Some in deep space stations, others in ring worlds. Even hidden Earth-like planets, their old computers blinked. Live message received. Terra lives, prepare for return, but not everyone. Celebrated in the dark parts of space. Enemies of the old empire also heard the call. One of them, buried in black ice for eons, opened a single red eye. Terra has risen, and war must begin again. The signal had spread like fire in dry air. Terra lives. 2 words. But they shook the oldest corners of the galaxy, on hidden planets, ... in deep ruins. Side machines that hadn't moved in thousands of years. Something old woke up. Something that remembered the Terran Empire and hated it in a dark system far from any known chart. A massive creature stirred inside a frozen asteroid. It had no name, only hunger. A living weapon created during the final war against Terra. Its body was made of black steel and dead stars. It had waited in silence since the fall of Terra, kept alive by rage. Now, it opened one glowing red eye. Signal confirmed, it said. Begin reactivation. On another forgotten world buried under mountains of ash, machines began to crawl out of the earth. Tall, spindly figures, half AI, half bone, once called the Reclaimers. They had been Terra's enemies in the last war, and now they were awake. Again, their leader, an ancient intelligence called Elaric, stared at the rising stars and whispered, "The Ghost Empire returns. We will not let it rise again." Back on Earth, Leanne stood before a global assembly. The message from Vault 3 had changed everything. No more hiding. No more secrets. People across Earth, Mars, and even the colonies on Titan had seen her wearing the exoframe armor. They had heard the message. Terra is not dead. Terra remembers. And now everyone wanted to know what came next. Leanne looked into the camera, calm and clear. "We are not alone," she said. "We are not safe. The Terran Empire once ruled the stars. But we had enemies, old ones forgotten, and now they remember us too." In space, new Terran ships were being built. Human engineers, using data from the Mars and Belt vaults, had started constructing warships with ancient designs, sleek, heavy, deadly dot ships with names like Solar Wrath, Echo Blade, and the Will of Terra. General Miles visited the shipyards himself. "These aren't just ships," he said to the young pilots. "They're messages. The enemies are coming. We'll meet them with fire." Meanwhile, on a council world, the Archivist AI was speaking to a secret group. "They are awake now," it said. "The old Terran foes, it's not even the council, can stop them alone." Zirkle, usually cold, looked scared. "Then what do you suggest?" The AI paused, then answered. "You must choose. Fight the humans, or fight beside them." Leanne returned to the vault on Mars with Rafe. The exoframe had unlocked a new chamber. Inside were records, videos, messages, files from the final days of the Terran Empire. One message played as they entered. It showed a man in full black armor, strong, proud, tired. "I am Chancellor Valen of Terra," he said. "If you're hearing this, then Terra has slept long enough." He looked straight into the camera. "Our enemies are still out there. We didn't destroy them. We only delayed them. Be ready." Because when Terra wakes, so will they. Suddenly, the archive sphere pulsed bright red. Alert. Incoming. Object detected. Origin deep space. Signature unknown. Power extreme. Rafe looked up. It's not Council Tech. Leanne clenched her fists. Then it's them. In space near Mars, human sensors picked up a strange vessel. It was huge, over 15 kilometers long, black like the void, covered in ancient runes and scars from old battles. No life signs, no communication. But it was moving fast, too fast. Earth scrambled defense fleets. Mars launched interceptors. But as they approached the vessel, every human ship received the same message. Your empire stole our stars. Now we take back the silence, and then the vessel fired. A beam of pure darkness tore through space. Not heat, not plasma. It erased matter. One human destroyer vanished in a second. What? Another spun out, its systems dying. On Earth, alarms screamed. This is not a test. This is a war. General Miles spoke quickly, broadcasting to all Terran forces. Defensive formations. Call every ship. Mars must hold. Leon jumped back into her armor. We need to show them, she said, eyes blazing. Terra does not run. The battle above Mars was brutal. Alien machines swarmed out from the black vessel like insects. Wisting, fast, deadly. But this time, humanity didn't just fight back. They roared. Ships with Terra's new weapons lit up the skies. Mars defense. Grid powered by the vault unleashed bolts of sunfire. And then Leon's ship appeared, wearing the exoframe. She launched from the surface, riding a sleek one-man starfighter connected directly to her armor. Her voice echoed across. Comes this. Is Guardian Leanne of Terra. We do not kneel. We remember. She flew straight toward the enemy vessel, dodging blasts and tearing through drones. One blast hit her ship, but the exoframe shield held. She landed on the enemy hull, punched through its surface, and entered. The dark heart of the monster, inside. She saw something horrifying. A throne room, bones, and in the center, a tall, skeletal figure in red-black armor. Not dead. Watching her, it smiled with no lips. I remember, Terra, it said. I burned under. Your sky. Leanne raised her hand. The armor lit up. You won't see it again, she said. Then she launched a blast of energy straight into the heart of the beast. Outside, the enemy vessel shook. Its systems failed. The swarm retreated. And finally it exploded in silence. Mars cheered. Earth rejoiced, but Leanne knew. That was only the first back on the moon. The vault there pulsed alive. Vault 4. Activation ready. Prepare for next phase. The enemy ship was gone, but peace didn't return. Instead, something deeper stirred. Across the stars, vaults began to glow. Not one, not two, but all of them. 12 in total, from the scorched moons of Vega to the crystal tunnels of Serenine. Ancient Terran systems came online. One by one, the AI voices activated. Vault 4. Power restored. Vault 5. Defensive array aligned. Vault 6. Colony blueprint data unlocked. Humanity was no longer waking up. It was rising. On Earth, Leanne stood before the United Council of Planets. They had called her to explain too, or justify what Terra was doing. To answer why her people, once silent, now moved like a storm? The Council. Leader Zirkle was calm but cold. Guardian Leanne, your forces have activated weapons older than this council. You claim to defend your world, but now it seems you seek to reclaim the galaxy. Leanne didn't flinch. She stepped forward in her exoframe, its power humming softly. We seek only one thing, she said. Balance. And if that means the galaxy must remember who kept the peace before the fall, then yes. Ow. Terra returns. On Mars, massive shipyards were alive with fire and motion. New Terran warships were launching, each one based on ancient designs. It's now upgraded with human creativity. Solar Wrath was now a fleet carrier. Echo Blade had quantum warp. And at the center, the most feared ship of all, Titan-class warship Vindicator Prime, hidden under Earth's ice caps for 10,000 years. It had been restored. No alien race had anything like it. Meanwhile, the Reclaimer forces, those old enemies of Terra, were not. Sitting idle, they had gathered 10,000 dark ships, eye-controlled destroyers, living weapons, forgotten allies of the last war. They formed a storm on the edge of the galaxy, and they were moving fast. At the center of the storm, Alaric the Endless watched the stars. She wears the exoframe, he growled. She activates the vaults. She brings back the Empire. She must be erased. Leanne sat alone inside Vault 1 on Earth. The AI voice whispered to her gently. The Council fears you. The enemies hate you. Your people follow you. But the choice is still yours. Do you become the next Empress of Terra? She closed her eyes. I don't want to rule, but I will protect. The enemy fleet finally arrived. Above the planet Laran 5, neutral colony of humans and aliens. The Reclaimers attacked without mercy. Civilians screamed, stations exploded. No warnings. No negotiations until space tore open and the Terran fleet dropped in. Vindicator Prime led the charge. Leon, in a new deep space armor frame, launched with her elite team of Guardians. The battle was not a fight. It was a message that Terra was done waiting. One Reclaimer ship after another exploded in flame. Terran drone swarms danced between beams. And then, from the surface of Laran 5, the civilians, human and aliens, saw something incredible. The Terran fleet shielded the colony, not just from the Reclaimers, but even from the Council's late-arriving ships. One alien child looked up and asked, "Are they monsters?" His mother held him close and whispered, "No, they're the ones who remember how to fight for those who can't." The battle ended. And this time, there were survivors. Alaric's ship fled, but his voice echoed across the stars. This is not the end. To rise again, Terra must fall again, Leanne replied. No, this time we're ready. The Council gathered again, but things had changed. Worlds that once ignored Earth now begged for Terran protection. Neutral colonies raised the flag of Terra. Even some alien worlds asked to join the new alliance. Zirkle spoke again, this time with respect. You have changed the balance, Guardian Leanne. What do you call this movement? Leanne looked out the window at the stars once ruled by human hands. She smiled. Not empire, not dominion. Call it the Terran Accord. The vaults connected at last. A giant gate system built, Long Agoria, activated between all major Terran worlds. Trade began. Travel began. Unity began. But most of all, hope returned. At the end, Leanne stood on a hill on Earth, looking up at the night sky behind her. Cities were alive again. Above her, Terran fleet stood watch, and within her, the memory of every fallen hero of the past burned bright. We were forgotten, she said softly, but we didn't forget ourselves. We were broken. But now, Terra returns.